welcome back to this Rift Let's Play. You're Sambo and Seraphis, our High Elf Mage, and of course joining us as always is what's he doing? He's making a rude gesture to me. It's Tallahassee. At least he's not dancing. How are you this evening, mate?
Yeah, not bad yourself.
I was fine until you decided to slash rude me. I'm going to give you some of that right back, you fiend. Look at that, talk to the hand. I say talk to the hand. In fact, I'm going to make it even more awkward for you by selecting you and just constantly staring at you, as you can probably tell. Does that make you feel uneasy?
No, it's like an everyday occurrence.
Of course, because all of God's creatures follow Tallahassee in the real world and the artificial world. Anyway, it's good to have you back, mate.
That's right, they do. Have you seen my hair?
Yeah, that's very true.
It's freaking awesome.
Tallahassee does. It's like Samson and Delilah. He has like the mane of hair there. It's very true. In fact, it's very similar to your character's hair, I must say. That's what you kind of look like in real life, minus the flowery armor, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, and the very mannish stance.
Yeah, are you saying that you stand like a woman? We cannot confirm nor deny this, folks, and you heard it here first.
Sometimes.
There you go. Oh dear. Well, I think we should move right along. So we've got some questing to do. If you joined us in our last episode, you'll know that we made it up here to this little bay, and we've got a number of quests to do. Firstly, we have to clear out these embers, they're called. So we're going to go zap, zap, slash, slash. There we are. Kill Maelforge Embers 1 of 10. Oh god, look at that lighting. I love the lighting in the zones. I know I keep going on about it, but gosh, it really makes the game, doesn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. So much to love about this game. Look at that view, folks. In fact, I might just turn the sound up one little bit to turn it up to number 28. Hopefully it's not too loud. It is an absolute delight to romp through this world. It really feels good. Oh, okay, so those islands are part of the quest. I see we've got a couple of markers out on the islands there. It looked like they were a long way away, but they're just nearby. That's handy.
Just waiting for Bull Rush.
Alright. Oh, and that was Tallahassee's charge ability. Very similar to the warrior charge ability in World of Warcraft. We spoke about it in the last episode. What's it called again? Sorry, Bull Run.
Bull Rush.
Bull Rush, right. And I think if I remember rightly, you said that actually does do damage as well.
It certainly does.
Awesome. Alright, so there's some sort of quest object there. Reliquary of Thontic. Now, whoa, can I see a dragon off in the background there, or is that just... Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the dragons look awesome.
Don't they just? They look fantastic. You might remember a couple of episodes ago, folks, we came across a baby dragon. Now, what's this one? It's not showing up under my cursor. Spirit of Maelforge. That's what it is. Wow.
Yeah, but you just need to throw the spear at it. Spear of Light.
Okay, the Wanton Flame Spear of Light. Here we go. Oh, and it's got a ground effect, so presumably we click near it on the ground. There we go. Whoa! And he disappeared. Look at that. I presume we need these guys still. Yep, 7 of 10. And of course, you'll notice that I've actually got my elemental out. I keep forgetting that I have a pet, or rather a combat pet rather than a vanity pet. So I actually remembered to get it out this time. So we've got a right royal party going on here. Even though there's just the two of us playing, we have the two of us, we've got an elemental, and of course we've got our collector's edition boggling wastrels there as well.
It actually would have been pretty funny if I went something like Beastmaster, because then I would have had a pet as well.
Can you... Oh, in a warrior tree, you mean?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Wow, so a pet class can be a warrior. But then again, folks, that's one of the great things that we keep talking about in this game is, of course, the class structure itself, or the soul trees. And of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this here, the 3 soul trees, because you can pretty much customize a character to your exact play style, to really accommodate the sort of things that you do like doing in a game, the sort of roles you like playing, whether it's all-out attack, whether it's healing, whether it's tanking, or, of course, as is totally possible in this game, a combination of all 3. And especially with the warrior, I think Tallahassee, we were talking about this, thank you, talking about this earlier. If you really wanted to, you could have a character that is not only a DPS warrior, but it also doubles as a taunting, shielding tank, and also has healing abilities, if I'm not mistaken. Because I'm pretty sure you have an ability that can heal you fully back to life. Is that right?
Yep.
There we go, another quest off the ground.
Chucked in the paladin tree as well.
Paladin, so that does make sense, of course. There we go, we've recovered 2 of 3 of the relics. Let's have a quick check of our map, see where we need to go. Looks like there's a relic up the top to the north of us there, up a path. Very nice. And of course I keep forgetting now that we also got our mounts in the last episode. If you watched, you'll notice that we collected our mail. And of course, because both Tallahassee and I have opted for the collector's edition of the game, we get a mount in the mail as soon as we can get to the mailbox. It's available for us there. Oh, look at that. What's that? That's plate, so I'll greed on it, but if Tallahassee needs it, he can need. We get our mount very early on thanks to the collector's edition, and very happy about that. A plus 60% speed increase for us to get around the world. Not that there's any rush getting around this world, I'll tell you that right now. Certainly don't feel like it's the sort of game where I want to rush to the end. Definitely want to enjoy the journey along the way, that's for sure. And just to confirm, Tallahassee, you probably know the answer to this question more than I do. What is level cap? Is it 50 or am I dreaming?
Oh, 50.
Yep, 50 it is. All right. And again, folks, wandering around in these woods.
Okay, it looks like I'm wearing a thong.
What? A part of me? Oh my giddy aunt! What the? You're wearing leather big white undies, basically, is what you're wearing. That's very befitting. Very nice.
It's hilarious.
Actually, you know what? We were talking in last episode if there was anything in the game we would change, or if there were any critiques we could level at the game, what would it be? I must admit, I do have one, and unless I'm mistaken, please correct me, but that is that there sorely needs to be an appearance tab. Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment that the armor that we're seeing at the moment, there's anything wrong with it. It all looks great. But why is there no appearance tab? Any game worth its salt these days definitely has one. I would like to see that, that's for sure.
I'm really not too worried about an appearance tab.
No. Me being the girly girl, touristy type player that you all know me to be, of course, it's super important for me. Because I don't want to have to replace some awesome looking gear with better stats, with an uglier one, which is always the case. And in fact, I saw a comic today, it may have been on XKCD, I can't remember, where they made fun of that, how whenever you get a piece of gear with better stats, it automatically looks uglier than the one that you have. That is definitely something I wish they would change. Anyway, alright, so it looks like we've got all of these, and now we need to pick up the final relic. I must say, Tallahassee, you're looking very village people at the moment.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to be in the Navy.
Yeah. I said, young man. Wow, you know what? I can really notice from the last time we were playing, now that you've actually respect, and of course Tallahassee, if you're watching our last episode, has respect. He's on Mark 2 of his character, and he's respect to a bit more of a DPS feel, and of course you can tell we're really cutting a swathe through these mobs. They're really not They're not standing up to much punishment because we're dishing it out big time, and I like that. Well, that was a quick respawn. Hello.
Yeah, occasionally it does that.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. XP is XP. Oh, now, I've just noticed a Silvermane Wolf, which is a non-aggro, because you can tell that because it's got a yellow name and yellow nameplate, so it's not going to aggro on us automatically. But I'm guessing that this is going to be where I get to first try out my skinning. And look at that, folks. I'm right. So you can see that my icon there changes to a skinning icon, just like in WoW. And presumably if I right-click on it, there we are. Sorry, it's not skinning, it's butchering. And look at that, soft hide, my very first collection of crafting material there. Although the first 5 of them, I'm going to actually have to give in to my crafting quest giver. And you can see Tallahassee there doing some mining. Now, tell us, please. I noticed that you pulled out a mining pick there. Tell me that it's not like WoW and you don't have to carry around a damn mining pick. Or do you?
No, you don't need to carry around a damn mining pick.
That is the best thing ever, because again, that's one of those harks back to old school. And sorry mate, I'm just grabbing some more pelts up here. Harks back to old school EverQuest and games like that, where they force you to carry around a skinning knife and a mining pick and God knows what else. It's like, do we really have to do that still? It's 2011. Can't we get past that? We understand. And it looks like Rift has taken that road of convenience. And I, for one, applaud Trion for doing so. Well done.
Sorry, we just missed out on a Rift as well.
Did we miss out on a Rift? Oh gosh, you know, as I said in the
a death Rift that just closed.
Oh, in the last episode I mentioned that the first time we ever get to one of those... in fact, I can see a minor rift. If you open your map, Tallahassee, over to the west, northwest a bit, there's a green minor life rift active. So what is that? Are you able to explain that to us? It says it's level 7 and there's 96 minutes till its collapse. What is that all about?
Okay, so it's basically what the dragons opened. They opened up these rifts when they came into the world.
Okay. Why is it a life rift? Or are they all called life rifts?
No, they're all different. So there's death, there's life, there's fire, I believe there's earth. It's basically all the powers that we have, or that all of our powers are based on.
Oh, our damage
are
abilities.
out there as rifts.
Right. I see, which makes perfect sense. And by the way, I can butcher a dragonfly by the looks of it. That's interesting. Okay, didn't know that. That's good. All right, I've got enough.
It's actually some interesting stuff as well.
Well, that's something that I must admit I'm not across all the damage types just yet. In fact, can we kill another mob just so I get another piece of crafting material? But I do know, there's life and death, and I think shadow. Well, I can't remember now, but it's interesting. So obviously all of those elements make up the plains, because I do believe that this game was originally going to be called the Plains of Telara, not Rift. And I'd say it's probably got something to do with those planar types, being life, death, etc. Sounds like it anyway.
Yeah, they actually do mention plains a lot in this game as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, look at those graphics, folks. Listen to the atmospheric sounds. It's just joyous, absolutely joyous running through the world of Rift. And I think we also mentioned in a previous episode, Tallahassee, how we've basically come from a very action-orientated MMO, that being DC Universe Online, where of course a lot of the combat is real-time combat, and we've come back to a more traditional abilities-based one. I honestly thought that I might find it a little bit boring, but I certainly don't. Combat's lots of fun for me anyway.
It's a lot of fun, and it's good to see actual crafting in the game as well.
Yeah, I've really missed crafting. Couldn't agree with you more.
This is what makes the economy go round, especially for a game.
Absolutely.
And that was something that I'd say that DCU was really lacking.
Yeah, the crafting in DCU was, well, there really wasn't any. It was just token collecting, really. Wanton Destroyer.
Greed Blossom.
And of course, folks, you can see if we bring up the map, you'll see where the quest hand-ins are. They're all south of us there, and if you hover over them, it actually tells you what quest it's a hand-in for and everything. Lots and lots of fantastic information, always presented in the UI. Whoever designed this UI at Trion, I take my hat off to you, because you've done a superb job. Not only is it exceptionally well crafted and designed, but it's actually really smooth as well. It's just a fantastic UI all up. Alright, so we're all done, I think. Yes, complete. Can we head back now?
I still need 2 more grief blossom.
Oh, so you're collecting blossoms for your crafting quests. Sorry, I never even thought of that.
That's alright.
So do you have, because one thing I've noticed here, even though I have the butchering ability, I don't have any talents or skills which actually show me where animals are. When you go with foraging or mining, do you have skills that show you up the nodes on the minimap, etc.?
They do actually appear on the map. The only problem is they all appear with the same little icon.
Oh, so you can't tell the difference?
Not until you hover over it.
Okay, but at least it is actually showing you where there are mats to be gathered from, so that's good. Better than nothing.
Agreed.
Alright, let's mount up so we can
just find the damn thing.
Make our way over to you. Yep. Whee! Gosh, yeah, the shadows, the lighting, the reflections, the texture work. They've just really crafted a fantastically atmospheric, living, breathing world, if you ask me. It's very awesome. In fact, you know what, mate?
I think you've been up this section of the map.
Well, I certainly haven't, that's for sure. Oh, there's a road. The feeling I get running around in this game is very similar to the original feeling.
High level area.
Oh, is it? Original feeling I got when I very first started playing WoW, all the way back at the end of 2004. And of course, back then it was something astounding, and you really got that sense of amazement and awe. And I get the same feeling running around in here, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to describe, but it reminds me of the old days of Vanilla WoW.
Yeah, Vanilla WoW, absolutely. In fact, for me, it's a nice... Oh, I'm going to get that wolf if you don't mind. It's a nice cross between Vanilla WoW and the feel of the original EverQuest, and in some ways EverQuest 2. But just your traditional fantasy-based MMO. There's just something to be said. People say, oh, can't we move away from fantasy MMOs? And, you know, the sad fact is, if you look at the MMO landscape and look at ones that have tried to deviate from that, they haven't been very successful. So, I mean, let's take games which are still great, by the way, like, for example, Tabula Rasa, which went down the science fiction route. Everyone thought, oh my goodness, science fiction, we love that, that'll be fantastic. Just quite didn't cut it. You've got games like EVE Online, which...
I think there was more execution, though.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it still stands. I mean, you've got games like that, you've got Star Trek Online, which I'm very sorry, but is horrible, in my opinion.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, you've played that as well, so you know how horrible that was. Games like EVE Online, for example, which are absolutely fantastic, but very niche. And then you have games like our good old DC Universe Online, or Champions Online, or Cities of Heroes, or anything like that. And again, because they're not traditional fantasy, they just simply don't have a huge player base. And if you've been watching my DC Universe Online Let's Play series, you'll know that I'm struggling to come across any other players whatsoever in that game. It's definitely getting a bit of a worry. Whereas, if you go back to your traditional MMOs, and let's take, obviously, this game, let's take... Whoa, there's a nuclear explosion in Tallahassee, makes it to level 9. Congratulations, mate. Well deserved.
Terrible, thank you.
You have to tell us how you're going to talent your soul tree, by the way. But games like this, Rift, World of Warcraft, obviously, Lord of the Rings Online, the more traditional fantasy-based games, and they're just teeming with players. So whatever the reason is, we all want something to be moving away from Fantasyland, but guess where everybody goes? That's right, it's Fantasyland. So who knows? Anyway, what have you decided to do with your talent point or your skill point?
Alright, so I've put another point in to take no prisoners.
Take no prisoners. So what does that do?
Damaging abilities that consume attack points deal additional 10% damage.
Ah, okay.
And I've put 1 point in Titan Strength, which increases strength by 2%.
Right. So you really are going for the full-on upfront DPS thing, which is also what I'm going for, by the way. So we're effectively going to be a huge DPS machine, aren't we? And by the way, do you have any clue as to what level instances start appearing in this game? Because of course, if you're used to playing something like WoW, you'll know that sort of around about the level 15 mark, you start to get shunted towards 5-man dungeons. What's the story with Rift?
That's exactly when it starts to happen.
Oh, so level 15?
Yep.
Beautiful. So I guess the two of us will be queuing as DPS, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I still can't find any Groove Blossom.
Oh, so how many more do you need?
Still need 2.
Wow. And you're obviously in the... Oh, well, actually, is it a zone... Is that quest actually marked on your map, or the crafting one's not?
The crafting ones aren't.
Okay. You know what? That's kind of cool in a way. I don't mind that, because to me the whole point of gathering and foraging is about having to go and seek them out, and ones that you stumble across. And I think for all the other devices in the game that point you exactly where you need to go, if there's going to be one that doesn't have that facility, it should be the material gathering one for sure. I don't have a problem with that. Alright, so here we go. Spirit of Planar Lure.
And with the we cannot cheat fate.
Whoa, that was a whole bunch of XP, and you'll see there on my XP bar down the bottom we're a slither away from leveling ourselves. Now, Tallahassee, I collected then some planar something, but it's not appearing in my bag. A planar lure. Why is it not in my bag?
Because it should be on your hotbar.
Oh, it's an ability. You're so right. Look at that. You learned a new ability, planar lure. Where is it? Cloudburst. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's actually an ability. Interesting. Let's hover over it. What does it do? Casting time 2 seconds. Use at a tier to lure out the planar forces breaking through and start a rift event. So, in other words, that rift that I spotted opening earlier that I showed you, is that something that we could go and use that planar tier on and actually initiate the rift proper?
That's right.
Alright. There you have it, folks. Alright, I'd say we're going to level with this quest. No? Oh, look at that. I'm so close. Oh, good lord. We are close as a close thing. We've handed in our pelts.
They like to tease.
They like to tease. Here we go. This guy, hopefully.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And he's going to give us a gold and a bunch of XP. And what do we want? We want health or mana. I probably want mana in this case. Let's take that. And there you go. The leveling up sound heard from halfway around the world. And we've hit level 9 as well. Thank you very much. Let's hop straight into the soul tree, otherwise we'll forget. And look at that, we've actually got 3 points to spend now. So that's fantastic, because it means we're actually going to be able to get an ability in either my Stormcaller or Pyromancer tree and still have a point left over to put into another one. So let's have a quick look here at what we can get for 6 points. We can either get Burning Shield, which consumes the mage's ground spell to shield us in flames, absorbing up to 160 damage that lasts 30 seconds. Alright, that's interesting, and that requires a thing called a ground spell. Now, that's a spell over here. So here we go, Ground of Power. This places a temporary field at the mage's location for 3 minutes. While the caster remains within that field, we deal 10% more fire damage at the expense of taking 10% extra damage when hit. Interesting. And only one ground may be active at a time. So quite clearly, in my trees there's going to be more than one type of ground, which is kind of like a buff. I obviously have to cast it and stand in it, so that it obviously does limit my movement ability. And then once I've got that up, I can then use this burning shield, which seems to be symbiotic with the ground power. What does it say? Consumes the ground spell to shield us. So using those two in conjunction with each other. Very interesting. I'm presuming I'm going to get them both. So that's probably the way I'm going to go, because I definitely want to do more damage. Whereas if I go over here to the Stormcaller tree, you'll see I've got one called Icy Vortex with a 1 minute cooldown, and it actually is like a shield. It reduces damage done to us by 25% for 10 seconds and applies hypothermia, which slows the enemies down. No, I'd rather go with the DPS. Let's have a quick look at what is in the Elementalist tree. I can either get a Lightning Strike, and we've already got a Thunderbolt, so probably not. Or we can get Stone Armor, which hardens our skin with the strength of Earth, increasing our armor by 99. Well, you know what? It's a plain choice for me, because we're going to get all of those things by putting points into the Pyromancer. So let's put... what should we put in? 2 points up here. And what are we going to do in terms of the actual talents? Probably going to decrease the cast time. Oh, and look at that, it's opened up a new row. We've got a new row of talents to contend with as well. We've got Combust, where our Fireball spell has a 20% chance to ignite the enemy, dealing an additional 10% of its damage as a dot, and that can stack 3 times. I like the sound of that. Improved Grounding, it increases the mana regen rate by 33% while you're standing in a ground effect. Oh, that's good as well. Or Burning Bonds, which roots the enemy in place for 8 seconds. Alright, Tallahassee, are you still with us?
I am.
Sorry about the spiel there, but I need your advice. What do you think is going to be more useful to us in terms of making lots of damage? I've got a talent which can either have a 20% chance to cause a dot over time, or I can...
okay, the dot.
Alright, rather than a mana regen one or rooting an enemy, we don't want any crowd control, do we yet? Probably.
But we don't really need CC at this stage.
Right, okay. So mana regen versus the dot, you reckon the dot?
I'd go to the dot because you'd be stationary for that mana regen.
Right.
And we don't really need that unless you're in a raid or in a dungeon.
Right, good point. Alright, there we go folks, you heard it from Tallahassee. We've put a point into there, and there we go. We've got 2 new abilities, Burning Shield and Ground of Power, which we'll check out in just one moment. We've got 1 point remaining. Let's see what the next one is. In the Fire Tree, consumes up to 80 charge, whatever charge is, to store a reserve of the Mage's Power, applying a stack of Smouldering Power. Good lord, that sounds very confusing. Blasts an enemy. I think we might just hold off that point for now, because it's not going to give us anything else, is it? Oh, no, it might. A Lightning Strike calls down a bolt of lightning to strike. We might just save that point for now until we know what we're doing. And in the meantime, let's sort out our bar. We've got this Ground of Power there, which is the new one. So let's go ahead and cast that. Where's Tallahassee gone? He's over here. That is Trainer. Let's see what sort of effect this has. So this, again, places a temporary field at our location for 3 minutes. And there you are, you can see it smouldering away on the ground there. And I do have a buff on me, and it says Ground of Power is active. And the buff that I have also is that it increases damage dealt by 10%, although it does also increase the damage received by 10%. But that is going to give me an extra 10% boost, and it's going to last there for 3 minutes. And of course, while that is down, I can also cast this one. Burning Shield consumes the ground spell to shield myself in flames, absorbing damage. So if I ever get in the poop, I can do this. And there I am. I now have a buff on me for 30 seconds. You can see it there, and it's absorbing 30 seconds. So it's kind of like a mage fire shield in WoW. Presumably I can also recast the ground. Yes, I can. So I can not only cast the ground spell and consume it to put my mage shield on, but I can then recast it again, which is fantastic. So very happy about that. Very happy indeed.
And the effects look pretty awesome.
The effects look incredible. And of course I've still got my actual mage armor there as well, which is that what does it do? Fire armor increases fire damage dealt by 5%. So I must say I'm a very happy chappy about all of that. Alright, let's
Okay,
Yep.
can I just get you to have a look at the inappropriateness of Lilith's armor?
The inappropriate of Lilith's armor. Okay, here we go. Lilith Sherman. Hello, warrior. Oh my, what the heck? Hang on. We've got to
Yeah,
spin
that
around.
ain't stopping anything.
That's not stopping anything. Let's zoom in here. In fact, let's dismiss the pet so we can get a good view. Goodbye. Trying to get a good angle here. Maybe we'll turn off the UI for a moment. That is not very protective, is it? That's fairly ridiculous. Oh dear. Oh, trust you to notice that. Trust you.
Good to see you.
It's good that she goes into war with a bikini, but, might be a bit much.
Yeah, that's right. Oh dear, now what have we got here? We've got a nice reward, orange pike staff. That's going to give us a whole bunch of stats. Look at that, wisdom +4, endurance +2, most importantly spell power +42. We absolutely want that. So let's go straight to our character and equip it before we forget. There we go, good stuff. And we've got another one here to accept, which is going to give us a belt when we finish that one off. Very nice.
Thank you for your assistance.
You are welcome. And one more quest to hand in before we wrap this episode up, because gosh, we've gone miles over time. There we go, recovered notes. That was a little item that we picked up out in the field. And one more quest to pick up here, which is going to give us a sigil of plains. Okay, that sounds like something you're going to have to explain to us in a future episode. Is that something that's... What is a sigil of plains? What is that? Is that just a rune, or what's the go?
Return.
Okay, if you go to your character sheet...
Going to the character sheet, there we go.
Right, and look at your actual character for their items. You'll see down the bottom there's an area that says Planar Focus.
Planar Focus, yes.
You can put that sigil of the plains in there.
Oh, in the middle here.
And it'll let you have your lesser and major focuses in there.
Oh.
And it's basically just stats.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So it's yet another way of customizing your character's stats by the sound of things.
That's right.
Fantastic. The more, the merrier. Well, Mr. YMCA Village People Boy on a Turtle, I think that's it for this episode. As always, we've gone way over time because we're having way too much fun. Whoops, and I've merged myself into you. Thank you once again, Tallahassee, for joining us. A pleasure as always, and of course another pleasure that we actually managed to get through an episode without him dancing once again. Can't believe it. Whew. Yeah, there we go. Of course that had to happen. Thank you very much. And of course it really looks good with that outfit that you're wearing, with your leather-clad Y-fronts. Very nice.
That's all right.
Thank you for that. But before we go, actually, tell us very quickly, what are your other characters that you're playing? Because we've had a couple of people ask what they are, and I keep forgetting to ask you. So what have you got that's in the world?
Okay, there's my rogue, who is called Northlander.
All right.
There is another character that is called Alkarinku.
And what class?
That's a cleric.
Oh, cleric. Yep.
There is Natalia Romanova.
Good old Romanova.
That's another rogue.
2 rogues. Good lord.
One's not a Riftblade. I don't remember this class, but it's melee, and the other one's ranged.
Oh, okay. Melee one and a ranged one. So that's like 4 or 5.
There's also Argawain, which is another cleric as well.
Gosh, you've gone nuts. Do you know how many characters you can actually have in the game? The limit? Is it 10 like WoW, or what is it?
I don't know, I'm at 5 or 6 now.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Unlike some games, they'll won't mention that actually only give you 1 and you have to buy another slot to get another, which is a bit of a rip-off if you ask me. Anyhow, thank you very much for that, and it's enough from us as I stare uncontrollably and uncomfortably at our mate Tallahassee. It's time to bid you all farewell. Thank you very much for watching us, and of course we hope you join us in our next episode. I presume, mate, we're going to move on northwards. Yeah, it looks like we are, as we get further and further into the world proper. And there he goes. Look at that tush waggling away. Very nice. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys are having a great day. And until next time, take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.